I'm just gonna tell you some shit that I wish people told me. So,
what is the truth about Winston Churchill?
Churchill was quite explicit that he did believe that white people were superior.
2 years after Hitler had come to power, Churchill wrote admiringly of Hitler. For his part, Hitler did not return these compliments regarding Churchill. Churchill had been effusive in his praise of another dictator, Italy's Benito Mussolini.
Mussolini declared the beginning of his Second Roman Empire.
Mussolini was idolized by Hitler,
copying the fascist salute.
Of Mussolini, Churchill wrote, quote, "If I had been an Italian, I am sure I should have been wholeheartedly with you."
The Nazi ideology was based on what Europeans have been doing around the rest of the world for hundreds of years.
But politicians have defended Churchill. The Prime Minister said his strong leadership through Britain's darkest hour helped protect values of peace and freedom.
It's a legacy of what went on in the past, and us not just glorifying it, but also justifying it. The difference, if Adolf Hitler did what he did in Africa or anywhere else, the rest of Europe would have accepted that, but you can't do it to white Europeans.
Thank you for supporting Ukraine.
What do you think of Boris Johnson? Well, once again, Boris Johnson is symptomatic of the culture that we live in.
You know, people say, oh, politicians should be careful what they say and they should watch their words and all this sort of mumbo-jumbo. I don't agree. I don't agree. I really don't.
if you feel guilt, don't feel bad. That actually means you're like a good person. And that's why psychos run the world. Because they don't give a fuck. They don't feel guilt.
When will the Prime Minister finally apologize for his racist remarks?
I have to admit, I find that plausible.
Do you believe there is systemic racism in law enforcement?
Absolutely. The crime bill before Congress gives you a chance to do something about it. A chance to be tough and smart.
You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. In fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
We talk about this mostly in terms of Black Lives Matter. Black lives really do matter.
According to the government's own figures, stop and search is disproportionately used against black people. For every 1,000 white people, there are 4 stop and search incidents a year. But for black people, that number is 38. That is almost 10 times the rate for white people. And this has had an impact on the overrepresentation of black people held in the criminal justice system.
And if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Why are African Americans still dying at the hands of law enforcement in this country?
So are white people. What a terrible question to ask.
Right? And what do psychos do? They stay in power by killing loud, nice people.
There have long been questions about the murder of Malcolm X.
56 years after the death of Malcolm X, lawyers revealed what they call new evidence of a conspiracy perpetrated by the FBI to assassinate the civil rights activist.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Martin Luther King, loud, nice.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights leader, was shot and killed tonight.
And I contend that the cry of black power is at bottom a reaction to the reluctance of white power to make changes necessary to make justice a reality.
We live in the land of the free and the home of the brave. White people are the free, and people of color have to be brave.
If he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house.
These incidents have raised major concerns over how the police are using their powers and who they use them against.
If you do that with a whole group of people for a lifetime, you change them psychologically. You convince those that they are less than.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? You should ask yourself who taught you to hate being what God gave you.